2, 1. Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, 815.
Putting small things in a refrigerator, that's Tetris. Taking them out, Jenga. I'm Greg. He's Tom. This is the In Crowd 815 podcast, the 17th day of August of the year 2024, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind.
And you made it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Good morning, my friend. How you doing today?
Oh, I am wonderful. I've added some, I've made some new additions to my, there's one right there.
You did. You
got, I still, oh, there we go. Oh, dear God. I still haven't figured out this thing right up there.
World champs.
Yeah. Oh, you had me backwards, didn't you? Or did you?
Over there and put you back there and put you right there. There we go.
All right. Well, anyway, world champs and then my little bottle cap Green Bay thing. My daughter and son-in-law went to New York and they brought me back a couple things.
Nice. Like it. Like it. Well,
there we are.
We have a great show lined up for you and the person still sleeping next to you. So give them a little nudge and say, hey, Greg and Tom are making noise. Wake up. Take a listen. We're going to be chatting with Kevin POLKY from Four Corners Wellness and his organization SOS. What's that all about? He's been on the show before. They got a special event coming up next month. So we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Before we do that, though, let's take care of this. This might be the most lopsided race to 10 we've had yet. It's 7-1.
Yeah,
I'm dumbfounded.
Well, I pour a little more salt in my wound.
It's our basic game of chance. Thankfully, Tom's not wagering anything valuable on this one because not that he couldn't catch up. It's happened before. I'm not ruling everything out here, but 7-1, the current race to 10, and our big number of the week this week is 36 billion with a B, billion. The answer this week is Pop-Tarts or plastic sharks. Pop-Tarts or plastic sharks. Give us your guess in the chat. And if you want to be fun, write a little story of why you think 36 billion has to do with one of those two things. That would be really fun to do. If you're feeling creative this morning, fill us in right there. We'll give you the answer before the end of the show. Fill you in with that. I've got some shout outs for this week. And oh, by the way, the new In Crowd 815 merchandise site is up. Would you like to get one of those cool hats you saw me wearing earlier? I don't have it in front of me right now. But
I have one. Where'd it go? It's right here.
There we go.
It's a cool
Look
shirt.
At that cool hat right there. That's in our new merch website. Some great new t-shirts. Look at how sharp that is.
That's right.
And it'll be chilly before you know it, so you're going to want a hoodie too, or a 3/4 zip up, or one of those things there. 1/4 zip up.
I want the 3/4 zip up. That's what I want.
Very sharp stuff. Sharp. Well, our guest today is no stranger to the show. Runs an organization called SOS, and Kevin POLKY is jumping on from us live from probably somewhere in Rockford. I don't know if he's traveling today or not. So good morning, Kevin. Where are you at today?
Good morning. I am in Rockford. We will be leaving as soon as we're done here. We're heading up to Wisconsin.
Oh, for business, pleasure, or a little both?
This will be pleasure. So no business this weekend. Well, this is the only business right now.
All right.
You know, I grew up in Wisconsin, right? You're aware of that?
Yeah.
So I grew up in southeastern Wisconsin. So Wisconsin, I'm a cheesehead through and through. For the first time in my life, I heard someone this week describe that the Wisconsin is the Cancun of the United States. And his reasoning was there's this place called the Wisconsin Dells. And the way he describes the Wisconsin Dells, he's like, it's the Cancun of the U.S. Trust me, you need to go there.
Thing is, Cancun may actually be cheaper.
Tom, I think you might be right about that.
Yeah,
That's a possibility.
I've been to the Wisconsin Dells. Have not been to Cancun. I haven't been to Mexico. I've only been outside the U.S. one time, and that was the Canada side of Niagara Falls.
Okay. Well, I did go to Cancun for Kenny's wedding 2 years ago, and we had a great time. And I would highly recommend doing the whole all-inclusive resort thing. It's so nice to have everything there, and you just enjoy the week and not have to really pay for anything. It's all included. So yeah, that was a new world for me a couple years ago. I'd never done that before. Do you got a favorite place in Wisconsin that you go to, or is it kind of a random thing?
Well, today we're heading to see some of our friends at Castle Rock, and then we'll head down to we have a lake home that's in between Mauston and Reedsburg, Wisconsin. So it's about 20 minutes northwest of the Wisconsin Dells. So we bypass the Dells every time we go up to the lake.
Is that Adams Friendship?
Nope, it's in Sauk County, and but near Adams Friendship. Yeah.
Okay. My wife's family had a little cabin up there in Adams Friendship for years, but yeah, it's a great way to get away from it all and get up there. And if you want the hustle and bustle of the Dells, there it is. There's a lot of fun. If you want to stay away from it, there's a lot of nice little lake areas around to take advantage of.
There's a lot to love in Wisconsin, most notably the Green Bay Packers. Kevin, I don't know if you're a Packer fan or a Bear fan or what, but that's okay. We love you no matter what.
Well, if this tells you anything, Tom, I am a Bears fan, but I for the last up until April, the last 4 years, I was running offices in Wisconsin, and I had my office in Green Bay. It was right down. It was on Lambeau Way. It was right down from the Lambeau Field. So yes, I have been. The last 4 years, I was inundated with Packers fans. That's for sure.
Okay, so I got to share this real quick. My son and my two grandsons, who are sleeping in the other room because they spend the weekend with us most of the time, and myself, we are going to Green Bay September 15th. We're going to go up there the 13th, stay 13th overnight, 14th overnight, and then the 15th is Sunday. We're going to watch the Packers and the Colts play, and then we're coming back Monday morning, Monday afternoon, whatever. It's the trip of a lifetime. My grandsons are so excited. And when we go, we're going to go to the zoo, and we're going to watch the Packers, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And I am as excited as they are. I've been to Green Bay a couple of times. I've seen a couple of Packer games. But this will be the first time that I've ever been able to go up there and actually take in the sights of Green Bay. I know it's not a huge town, 110,000. I understand all that. I want to see St. Vincent's Hospital. I want to go to Lombardi's Steakhouse, which is in Appleton, which is where we're going to stay. So I'm going to be able to do that. We want to go to the zoo. We're just going to have fun. 3 generations of boys, and we are going to just have the time of our lives. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be epic. Be epic. Remember that for the rest of their lives.
Now, how old are your grandson? How old your grandson?
They're 9 and 7.
Oh, nice.
9 and 7. Yeah. So Dominic, the oldest, he's 9. When he was 8, he, for some goofy reason, started liking the Minnesota Vikings. I think it was the color or something like that. So my wife goes and buys him a Harrison Smith t-shirt at the Goodwill. I was like, honey, why did you do that? And my son goes, Mom, what are you doing?
Don't encourage the boy. Come on.
Yeah, don't encourage the boy. Anyway, so this is where I got the idea. You know what? We're going to nip this in the bud. We're all going to a Packer game. They are going to be, and now I got them jerseys. They've been wearing them. I bought Ben, because he's smaller, a little hat. It says, my first Packer hat. It kind of probably is for a smaller kid. He's 7, but it does fit him. It'll fit him for this time around, and then we'll give it back to the Goodwill. I don't care. So
there you go.
Cool.
Hopefully they will destroy the Colts on that day and just.
I don't care if they beat them 10-9. I don't care. Just win, baby.
Just win,
like Al
baby.
Davis used to say, just win, baby.
Well, let's start like we like to do with all of our guests, even though you've been on before. Give us a little bit of a background about yourself, Kevin. Real quick, where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? And what kind of career arc led you to start Four Corners Wellness Center?
Sure. Yeah, I was born and grew up in Rockford my entire life. When we were going into my fourth grade year, my parents moved from Rockford, downtown Rockford, to McChesney Park, and so that then led me to graduate from Harlem High School. At that time, I was primarily focused on sports. I was football, wrestling, and track, and then I got into bodybuilding, and then that took on a huge part of my young adult life. Competed as a teenage bodybuilder and won a state championship, national championship, and then graduated from Rock Valley, Illinois State, and then came back to Rockford, worked for a couple years, and then got my master's degree in social work from the University of Illinois in Champaign, and that led me to be a school social worker and a football coach and strength coach at Harlem, and did that until opened up KP Counseling in 2001, and did that. I had sold it 9 years ago to create an interstate counseling agency, and so that's where we bought the Wisconsin companies as well as some more in Illinois, and that evolved to a point where that company now is owned by United Behavioral Health Company, and I ran those Wisconsin and Illinois sites until this April, and now I am focused on running Four Corners Wellness Center, which allows me to get back into focusing on the greater Rockford area, the 815. That's why we call it Four Corners 815. And it also allows me to start counseling again. And so that's the big reason. Then Shatter Our Silence, we started that in 2016 after three individuals in my son's graduating class in 2014 died from suicide.
My perception is, correct me if I'm wrong, though, my perception is your timing of having these counseling service centers couldn't have been better. I mean, the focus on mental health the last decade has just skyrocketed, and so I imagine that you've found yourself in a very, very active arena.
It's and you're 100% right. I think Malcolm Gladwell talks about the idea in his book Outliers, and it's about timing. And I think I was in the right time in Rockford to then be successful in as a bodybuilder because of all the bodybuilders that were around here. And I think the same thing happened from a counseling perspective, and that had nothing to do with me other than taking opportunities that were presented to me and the need that was there. And right now I'm doing some workshops for Belvedere and a handful of other places on the youth mental health crisis and the impact of social media. And there's a very specific time period when smartphones became inundated us during our Generation Z's developmental years, and we're seeing some of the mental health impact of those from an anxiety and depression standpoint.
Yeah, it's what's happened in especially the last decade. I mean, is something that it's hard to describe. It's I mean, you and I and Tom being Christian folks and believers, we can get into the whole spiritual side of what's going on. The practical side of things that has got to play as well. And you're seeing, I imagine you're seeing so many different things that we could go down so many bunny trails right now. What are you seeing, I guess, the most of? What is the area that you started SOS for a very specific reason? So is there an advancement in helping suicide awareness that you're excited about, or is it still kind of just a real struggle, depressing arena? I don't know how I'm asking this question. Sure. Forgive me, Kevin, but I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, no, actually, since when we first started SOS in 2016, it really was in response to what happened to those three individuals in this group of young people, and well as their parents and their the community as a whole that were going through this roller coaster of these deaths by suicide. It was really about just getting people to recognize that there is a problem with young adults are struggling, and not what the stereotypical person thinks, and these were individuals that didn't have social and economic problems. They had good homes. There was a lot of factors about how we had to shatter all of our silence around what leads to suicide, right? And so that was one element. What we're seeing now is it's really not about needing to tell people this is a problem. People recognize that it's a problem. It's more about the idea of what are some things that we can do to give hope, so that when someone's in that darkness, they don't have to succumb to the darkness. And that's really what we're going to be doing. We're shifting Shatter Our Silence's vision, along with raising awareness and educating young adults and their significant others. It's also rallying around young adults who have struggled with their mental health, but now have come on the other side of it, or are working on coming on the other side of it. And they are now giving back to the community. So we have a film that we're going to be showing that we partnered with Vixen Production, in which we're highlighting 4 individuals from the Rockford area who share their story of struggling with different aspects of sports injuries, to perfectionism, to internal pressure, and now they're giving back to be a light in others' darkness. So really, we want to focus on how do we help young adults who are wanting to give back to be a light for others. So that's a big focus that we're doing right now.
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, there's a I guess a somewhat pervasive hopelessness that seems to have overtaken. And I don't know if it's a generation. I don't know if it's just the general culture. But yeah, the sadness of life has just gotten to people in such a way that unfortunately some people think the only way out is just to get out. So I see on your website here you're working with the military, you're working with educators and parents. There's a lot of different ways that you can focus on this. You're attacking this issue in a lot of different angles, aren't you?
We're trying to look at from wherever the young adults are at, and that may be, obviously in the schools when they're younger, but then once they leave high school, they may continue in college. So we're going to the colleges and universities. They may go into the military. So we go with the military, or they may be in the workforce. So we are trying to go wherever the young adults are. And obviously, it isn't just for young adults. If someone's 30 years old, this message is for a 30-year-old as much as it is. But if we can make an impact with the people that work with the young adults and know what to look for and how to respond when someone's struggling, that's a big piece of what we want to do, because we recognize that in a time period when we have at our hand this device that allows us to connect to anybody anywhere in the world, there's a sense of loneliness because of maybe not having the connections in person, right? In what we sometimes call in the real world, where it's face to face or out in nature or whatever it may be. And so that's really where we're emphasizing those areas.
Yeah. You've got a great resource here in just your website alone. Are you finding more traction helping people in person, or in larger groups or smaller groups, or is that kind of based on the individual?
Well, obviously during the pandemic, when we weren't able to, or we were limited on on being able to do in-person counseling or in-person workshops, it has really shifted the other way. Like, in the last week, I was in Kansas speaking with a school district in Kansas that had lost 3 of their students to suicide and 2 of their community members. So they flew me to Kansas to do that talk. And this week I was in Princeton, as well as we had a retreat at Four Corners. But then on Thursday, I did a virtual, and there was, I think, about 50, a little over 50 individuals that were on a virtual talk. It really depends on sometimes at a distance from that end, but from a counseling perspective and a coaching perspective, people are definitely preferring to be in person than doing it virtual. Now, with that being said, I'm working with the Belvedere School District, and we just did a short 20-minute two 20-minute workshops that they're going to use in their advisory class this year for suicide awareness. And so that's something different. Instead of trying to do a huge assembly of 4 or 5 300 person assembly, they're going to be using these 20-minute videos that they can then keep in their library to show over. So it's a little bit, we're trying to meet them where they're at and do what we can do to give them the resources to educate them.
Is there something you advise people to look for in a person's attitude or actions to say, hey, this might be a time when you're going to want to speak up and say, hey, friend, you seem down, you seem something's changed. Is for the layperson who maybe has never had to deal with this before, and they think maybe a family member or friend something's changed, and they're afraid that they might be getting depressed or some reason suicidal. Is there something that you kind of advise people generically to do or say?
Well, it kind of goes along with what you just said, right? So if I'm friends with someone or a family member of someone, and I have been around them enough to know what we refer to as their emotional baseline or their behavioral baseline, and now, as you said, they're acting different than their normal baseline, not just for a day or a half a day or something like that, but we're seeing multiple days in a row. just from a standpoint of approaching them and asking them about how they're doing and what you're observing, letting them know what you're observing, but doing it in a caring, empathetic way, in a non-judgmental way. So, we talk about this idea of the acronymed ACE. Ask those questions of not out of curiosity, so as if you were going to gossip, but more out of a curiosity of wondering what is going on with a person, to connect with that person, and doing it in a caring, non-judgmental way as the C. And then if we need to, we escort that person to get help, get assistance. And that may be with a professional. If it's a young person, maybe the adults in their life, and that may be teachers, coaches, parents, guardians, whoever that may be. And if a person's either struggling themselves in the darkness or not knowing what to do for someone they know in the darkness, always call, we've had some, really good resources with 988, and be able to call the crisis text line or crisis hotline for suicide is 988. And then also the crisis text line, which is 741-741. And those two are resources, not only for someone in the darkness, but for someone who doesn't know what to do to help someone who's in the darkness.
So those are resources that are easy to access.
Yeah, absolutely. And the depending on where you're at, it's going to bring it to a local area. Meaning, we have centers here that will respond to that in the greater Rockford area. So they'll be responding. Now, maybe outside of the Rockford area, they're going to still be coming from the Rockford area, but for the most part, it's going to be more localized who's going to be responding to those calls.
Okay, nice. Just like 911 gets you to your local emergency center.
Absolutely.
988.
Yep.
Kevin, there's a lot of strides that have been made on bullying in high schools and this and that. A lot of anti-bullying campaigns, which are wonderful. Have you found that it's working very well? Maybe not enough? Or, what do you feel about that? It's obviously important. What do you think? Do we still have major strides to gain, or are we coming along pretty well with it?
Well, I think we still have some work to do, because it constantly is a new, the kids are starting to go back to school, right? And it was only 3 months ago that they were in school, but 3 months over the summer may have changed some things, and some of it maybe from a confidence level, or maybe something happened with them. And so I think it's a constant reminder that we need to be kind. and not be utilizing someone else as this emotional, kicking post or punching bag, and or making me feel better by making someone else look smaller. And I think that's a human thing that we got to constantly keep that at the forefront of our mind, and making sure that, when's the teasing and the joking going around, and when is it no longer being playful, now it's being hurtful.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that. The way I heard it a number of years ago, you have to blow out my candle to make yours shine brighter.
Yep.
The whole bullying thing drives me nuts. But the one thing that I've learned over the past few years that I've really been focusing on is adult bullying. Bullying in the workplace. When you're a kid, you can go to your principal, you can go to mom and dad, you can go to your big brother. He'll go down to the schoolyard and kick little Billy's butt. Whatever. I mean, however it's handled is handled. But the adult bullying, when you're being kind of looked over at work, or a group, a little clique or whatever, because people in the workforce, adults, 30, 40-year-old people, are just like that 10 or 12-year-old in grade school. They never really truly emotionally grew up. And it drives me nuts because there is really no recourse in many ways. You go to human resources, well, guess what? The HR director goes drinking with whoever. It happens. I've seen it happen. How does somebody combat that?
Well, I mean, and if you add into it, technology, right? If you add into it cyberbullying, you just added zeros to the pain, right? You amplified it, and so you're 100% right. I think a big piece of it is making sure that, one, you're not silent about it. So finding out, is there anybody, if it's in the workplace, is there anybody that can be an ally in that? Ideally, we want it to be the human resource, director. But if you're in a small company, the human resource director may be a family member to the owner. And so, it may be one of those small situations. So, who could be an ally? And I think at the end of the day, though, it's really about knowing in your own circle of friends and influence, speaking with them about what's hurting you, and really getting feedback from them, and taking a hard look at, this is who I really am, regardless if this person's overlooking me or not appreciating me, or has to make me look smaller because so they look bigger, but who am I, and really, and what am I actually bringing to the organization? And unfortunately, sometimes we might need to make a choice to look and be somewhere else. And that, maybe there's another organization that have a greater appreciation for me to be involved with.
Finding options. That changes your world when wait a minute. I don't live in a world where I only have one option. I have numerous options. And it's sometimes the painful thing is to get up and move and just say, all right, this place ain't for me. I'm going somewhere else.
Because we say this all the time, especially for us that are in working with at-risk population, is that we're not trying to change the world as much as we're trying to make sure the world doesn't change us. And it's this idea that there may be some people that don't want to change. They want their culture to stay exactly the way it is. I may have to make a decision to utilize my freedom of choice and go somewhere else, because one aspect of the definition of bullying is believing that I can't leave, believing that I can't escape it, and there's this power structure that I can't escape. Technically, in today's world, there's employers that need employees more than employees need employers. So we need to know what our value and worth are. Now, if we're not doing our part, then that's also part of what we got to look in the mirror too. What part am I not doing? So it goes both ways. It's not, sometimes I need to look at what part do I need to step up and do more. And that's a part too.
Yeah. Well, before we shift into your event coming up in September, is there, without naming names, is there like a success story that you could maybe talk about to kind of tell people that, hey, this person came in for group counseling, and this person came in for one-on-one type counseling, and kind of generically speak of a success story that you've experienced in the last few years?
You know, I'll use one that'll be safe for me to use, because it is going to be, if you go to the event, I'm plugging that.
Okay.
Go to the event, you'll see it on in the film. But I'll give a short version of it. We had an individual that was on that's going to be featured in the film that he he had a pretty dramatic situation. He was a parkour athlete. He was a college swimmer. Ended up having scheduled for a surgery in 2020, and came out of the surgery. He was hoping that the surgery was going to allow him to go back and be competitive again. Instead, he woke up with no middle of his waist down, or from middle of his torso down. He was paralyzed.
Ooh.
Having to rehab and go through that. He had problems with painkillers, and the painkillers, the opioids were not, got to a point where he wasn't using them for physical pain anymore, but the emotional pain. Then there was depression, suicidality, and Nathan has done an amazing job of letting people around him know, his family members, as well his group of friends, know that he needed to get off the opioids. They were no longer helping, but they were destroying his life. He needed to stop being silent about what was going on, getting some help from that end. And to the point where he made a film that we're going to show. We're going to show the full film on the 25th of September at the Nordloff Center, of what he and his group of friends are doing through the use of being out in nature and doing parkour to spread a message of hope and possibility. And I think Nathan's story is probably one of the ones that stands out in my mind. We have 3 other ones that we're going to be featuring in that film as well, but Nathan's is a pretty dramatic story as well.
Cool. Well, the Shatter Our Silence Light the Way event is a Thursday night, September 19th at Prairie Street in evening. This is a dinner presentation. Fill us in on what the evening is going to be like for those that attend.
Yeah, well, number one, Greg, I appreciate that you're going to be there as our MC, so you'll be helping us out hosting it. The first hour is going to be a networking cocktail hour. It's at Prairie Street, so they have a beautiful setup in their main room. And then when we're going to transition, we're going to welcome everyone there, and then we're going to go into dinner that is going to be provided where they are. Prairie Street we're doing Mexican that night. And then after dinner is over, then we're going to start going into our program. We have a surprise that my daughter and some of her friends from Starlight are going to be doing to open us up. And then we're going to show the film. And then PJ Capozzi is our keynote speaker. PJ is a pretty dynamic educator. A few years ago, he was superintendent of the year. And then last year, he was runner-up for national superintendent of the year. A couple weeks ago, I watched his TED Talk and the things that he has been doing and has been inspiring and motivating other individuals to do in the educational realm, how we can help educators as well as our students as they're facing some of these trying times. We're going to have silent auction items. We've got some really cool one-of-a-kind silent auction. We're working with some local artists that have donated pieces of art that are unique, one-of-a-kinds, and as well as some other items. And then we have baskets that are from a $50 plus value. And then we're doing a wine and spirit pull for the first time. And that's going to be a little bit different from wine that has been donated and spirits that have been donated from some local organizations. And then we always do a 50-50 donation. And that is just a fun way for people to get involved and give back. So it's really all about, we only do one fundraiser a year. And this is what allows us to be able to go into businesses or schools that may not be able to afford for us to be paid to be there. This will subsidize that, as well as our awareness campaigns. That's another way. It allows us to, buy stickers and shirts and mugs and different things that we can give away to to continue the brand of Shatter Our Silence and being a light in others' darkness. And then again, this new initiative of being able to rally around a Nathan or an Easton who started he just graduated from Hananiga, and he started a football camp where he wanted to raise money to give $500 away to individuals that were going to college to be psychology and social work students. So we're rallying around young adults, and this is a way for us to put people to donate, to put resources toward that so we can continue those campaigns.
Nice. Well, the QR code that you're seeing on the screen here might not work for your phone just because it's all digital on the screen, but shatteroursilence.org. We've got the link in the chat, easy to get to, and go check that out. If you can't make the events September 19th, you can still become a sponsor or donate. And also cool to be able to share that SOS is going to have one of the teams and tables at the October 17th masked karaoke trivia contest that In Crowd 815 is putting on. And I talked with Sierra last night. She goes, yeah, I need to find some trivia people. We got the song part down. So it's going to be a fun night that also will help raise funds for Shatter Our Silence and 9 other not-for-profits here in the 815 region. So if you are wanting to do something fun with your not-for-profit and people that support a not-for-profit here in the 815, we still have tables and seats open for our event October 17th. So very, very cool. Anything that we did not ask you about here, Kevin, that you want to talk about before we do a little trivia with Tom and move on for the day?
Yeah, no, actually, I think, the biggest thing is that, by hearing a little bit about it, by going to the SOS or shatteroursilence.org website, and knowing the story and learning more about the story, when someone asks about it, when it comes up in just conversation, just asking somebody, just talking about SOS, that's a way of planting seeds of hope about being a light in others' darkness. So I just appreciate any opportunity to talk about it and for people just to spread that message.
So yeah, if you have a group and you have speakers come in once in a while, reach out to Kevin, see if he can fit you in the schedule and speak to your group too. It'd be awesome. And it's not just local. You're all over the place. You're going all over the country doing this. So this is very cool. Joanne, I'm going to bring you in. All right. Are you ready to play some trivia with us, Joanne? Joanne's standing by over at Paws Humane Society, and she looks ready. So good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Joanne?
We'll figure this out. Okay.
All right. Where am I? You're making me dizzy here. I'm up. I'm down. I'm to the side.
Finding the screen that works best. I think this
right.
is the one right here.
That's right.
Tom's got
all right.
trivia for us. What do you got, Tom?
All right, folks. I've got 6 of the hardest questions you'll ever. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. First question: what's in my right pocket? No. Second question: what's my mother-in-law's maiden name?
Good luck, everybody. Good luck.
Good luck. All right. Here we go. First question. Actions. You'll like this one. According to Energy Star, the United States Environmental Agency's energy saving program, the average person does this at least 33 times per day. What is it? I can give you options if you want them.
First thing that comes to my mind has to do with like turning on and off light switches, but I don't know. Think of anything else? We'll play as a team, guys. We'll see if we can score a point.
Yeah, do this as a team. Do this as a team. I will give you your options here. Okay. 1, flip a light switch on or off, or open the refrigerator door.
No.
I'm going to go with the refrigerator door.
All right. What else?
What?
Those 33 times. 33 times a day.
Times in how long?
A day.
A day?
Yep.
Oh, I can't imagine you open the refrigerator that many times.
I don't think I personally do that, but maybe as a family we do.
Well, it says the average person.
Oh, average person. Well,
I'm going to say turn the light switch.
I'm going to go with the light switch too, but Kevin might be right on this one. What do you got, Tom?
Refrigerator door.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
Kevin kicks us off his team. He wins.
All right.
Nothing in the refrigerator that you keep looking and think something's going to.
It's out of habit, Joanne. You go by, you open it up. What am I doing? I just looked in here 5 minutes ago. The milk is still there and it's still this full. Okay, shut it. I do it at least 10 times a day before noon. Now, that one I totally agree with. Anyway, okay. In 1908, the Wright brothers publicly show off their new flying machine in Le Mans, France, and the flight lasted 1 minute and 45 seconds. There were no drinks served on this plane.
No.
All right, which Wright brother piloted this flight? It's total coin flip, unless you know the answer. Once again, on
Orville
this,
or Wilbur? Do you remember which one did most of the flying?
in 1908, Wright brothers publicly show off their new flying machine in Le Mans, France. The flight lasted 1 minute 45 seconds. Which Wright brother piloted the flight, Wilbur or Orville?
I don't know. You got to guess?
We split this up. We're going to get it right. Someone's going to get it right.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm going Wilbur. I don't know, but I'm going to Wilbur.
All right. Anybody else?
We'll go with Wilbur.
Okay,
Come on,
Wilbur. Wilbur it is.
Oh.
Wilbur it is. Wilbur. Oh, here's a fun one. You guys will like this one. Which U.S. state capital has the higher population? Is it Salt Lake City, Utah, or Madison, Wisconsin? Once again, which U.S. state capital has the higher population? Salt Lake City, Utah, or Madison, Wisconsin?
It got to be pretty close. I've never been to Salt Lake City, so I don't know how big it is, but I want to say it's a pretty spread out city.
Been there once. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm
You think
leaning
it's-
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's because Madison's like 300,000, right?
Oh, no hints here.
Yeah.
Nice try, Mr. Polky. Nice try.
I'll go with Salt Lake City too.
Kevin, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to go with Madison just to keep it local.
Guess what? Madison it is. Now listen to this. You were very close. 272,903 for Madison. Salt Lake City, 204,657. By a mile, by about 71,000. And here's what gets me. Salt Lake City actually has a professional sports team. They have the Jazz, the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. And they're
Basketball
hosting
team.
the Olympics. They hosted the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, they did. They did.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, we got 3 left. Let's move on. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one for all us radio folks. In the sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, one of the greatest sitcoms ever, fictional radio DJ Dr. Johnny Fever was fired from his radio gig in Los Angeles before landing at KRP for using this word. What word was it?
The first thing that comes to mind is jive turkey.
Jive turkey.
I could see someone saying, "Wait a minute, what did you say? Did
That's
you call
right.
me a jive turkey? You're fired."
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know though. I don't remember that one.
I remember.
Was it the-
I
What was
remember.
that, Kevin?
I said I remember the show, but I don't remember what he was. I don't remember the before.
Yeah, this was in one of the very first episodes. In fact, I think it might have been the first episode. I just saw it the other day. Joanna, guess?
No, not
The
at
word
all.
was booger.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Some of these are a little difficult today, but you know.
Okay, you. I got to bring this up. A couple weeks ago, the ski Bronx, we competed at nationals up in Shawano, Wisconsin. We were in the Division II show ski championships in Shawano, Wisconsin. And the script this year is all about having a circus on the water. And I'm the ringmaster in training. There's a ringmaster, and I'm the dopey, goofy ringmaster in training, right?
Mhm.
So my
You're
improv riff at nationals this year was about how my uncle Jerry taught me to use boogers as fish bait.
Oh, jeez.
It's booger bait. Haven't you ever tried booger bait? He caught the biggest largemouth bass ever by using booger bait. And it was It was hilarious. I'm sorry. I got the people in Wisconsin to laugh, and there was an Amish guy up in the stands that he was laughing. I won the day as far as I was concerned because I made the Amish guy up in the top of the stands laugh. It was great.
That's good. That's good. I like it. All right, here we go. Here we go. A little politics or transportation. The airplane which carries the president is called Air Force One. The helicopter which carries the president is called this. What is it?
I know this one. I do know this one. You know it, Joanne, Kevin? You got that one?
Well,
Once again, the airplane which carries the president is called Air Force One. The helicopter which carries the president is called this. What is it?
I am 90% sure it's referred to as Air Force Two, but I might be wrong.
That's what carries the vice president.
Shoot. So
Air Force Two carries the vice president.
Yep. Any ideas? No? The answer is Marine One.
Marine One.
Marine One. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
All right, we have one more, and then I'm going to give you a bonus question, which is going to be our Rockford trivia.
Rockford trivia.
All right, here is not Rockford trivia. This tropical storm is bringing heavy rainfall, dangerous storm surges, and strong winds to the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. What is the name of this tropical storm?
Happening right now?
Happening right now. Turn on that weather channel and you'll see it. It may have died down by now. This question was written a few days ago.
There was a Hurricane Debbie this year, right? So we're probably on F, G, or H as far as names go.
Ephraim or something. Ephraim?
Ephraim.
Joanne's close. You're in the right alphabetical.
That's the letter E.
Yep.
I haven't heard it. I don't know.
It's Ernesto.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ernesto.
Yeah.
Watch out for Ernesto.
Okay. One final question. This is our Rockford trivia, which is it's a staple. We have to do it. All right. This baseball team from Rockford was one of the first professional baseball teams in the United States. They only played in the National Association for 1 year, which was 1871. Name the team. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. The term is one of Rockford's nicknames. So once again, this baseball team from Rockford was one of the first professional baseball teams in the United States. They only played in the National Association for 1 year, and that was 1871. Name this team. The term or the team name is one of Rockford's nicknames. All right, mull that over. And 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Were they referring to Rockford or Midway or something in 1870 as the Forest City at that time? Probably, maybe.
Well, you know what? The next question on the list was what was Rockford originally known by this name, and that was Midway. But in 1834, we became Rockford.
Once a month.
We were Rockford in 1834, so that was long after that. So the Midway thing is out. Think of Rockford's nicknames.
Well, we weren't making screws at that time yet, so it was the yarn capital of the world, maybe.
I know we were making furniture. There was.
But that was after the Chicago fire. That's why all the furniture companies started in the 1870s.
I'm stuck on Forest City.
I heard a ding. Did somebody have an idea? What did you say, Greg?
I'm stuck on Forest City. I can't get past Forest City.
There you go. There's your answer.
There was.
Here are the Rockford Forest Cities.
The Rockford Forest City. Well, that's kind of silly. Well,
I don't know.
Shatter Our Silence. Again, the event coming up in September. We've got the link in the chat, so you can go right to the website and get more information about what's going on there. We'd love to see you at that event. If you can't make it, feel free to toss in a donation and help support all things Shatter Our Silence and the great work that Kevin's doing. Kevin, I really appreciate your time today. Looking forward to seeing you at the event in September and again in October.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything you guys do for the greater Rockford area, and thanks for supporting me and Shatter Our Silence.
You got it.
Thank you. Have a great day. Safe driving on your little trip today.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There goes Kevin Polkey from Shatter Our Silence. ShatterOurSilence.org is the website. Easy to check out. And yeah, really appreciate all the work that he is doing out there. You guys in here, how was your 815 day?
Mine was boring. I did
Yours
trivia.
was boring?
I don't know.
I guess mine was kind of boring too. I didn't do anything necessarily special for 815 days specifically. I did get out of the house a little bit, but yeah, I can't say I took advantage. You said you got a bunch of chips from Fisher's, right? Mrs. Fisher's chips?
Yeah. Well, I slept for 15 hours and then I was up for 8, 7, whatever. I don't know.
There you go.
I did. I went down to Mrs. Fisher's and there was a line like you wouldn't believe. They were called hot chips. They're just regular chips, but they were literally hot off the press. Those bags were warm and I had 9 of them. I had to deliver them to my daughter's bank where she works. And all of her friends at the bank were like, oh my God, these are awesome. Thank you so much.
Nice.
So
You
nice.
say called they're hot off the
Right off the
oil.
conveyor belt.
they were literally just made. And they were warm and they smelled amazing. And my windows were fogging up. It was so cool.
We had a couple of bags in the office.
I worked on that day. So, and we did
We
give
had donuts and
discount at
potato
the
chips at our office on 815 day.
815 day.
I worked on that day as well. I went down to Franklin Grove, as a matter of fact. We do Franklin Grove. There's a bar. It's called Rooney's. It's really a cool place. It's like going into a time warp. The building itself was built in 1860. I saw the cornerstone up there.
Oh my.
And you walk in. I've been there many, many times, so this is no surprise to me. But I walk in and I'm like, wow, I just realized just how awesome this place is. Outside looks like something from an old Western town. And you walk in and it's modern. They've got video games, they've got TVs, they got the bar, they've got booths, not booths, they got tables and all that. And it's like, wow, what an amazing job they've done with it. And the guy, I was just talking to the owner the other day. He said it was at one time it was a vet clinic and it was a CPA's office. It was a resale shop. I mean, it's been everything. And about 3 years ago, they transformed it into a bar, and it really is cool. So that's what I did on my 815 day.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, by way of shout outs this week, got to give a shout out to this little team called the Green Bay Packers. Their first preseason game, Jordan Love looked like the Jordan Love from the end of last season, so that felt pretty good just to
Love
see that.
the Wick, 65 yards, touchdown.
That was nice to see. They play Sunday night this week. Sunday night
It's Denver.
Denver. And will we see Jordan Love for 2 series this time? Who knows? We'll see how that
I just realized.
I
turns
don't
out.
think you're going to see a lot of starters at all.
No, probably not.
I was watching some stuff online regarding that, and they were basically saying, don't expect a whole lot from the starters because they need to find out who is playing, who's going to be on the team, who is not going to be on the team. They want to know, is it going to be Sean starts with a C. Why can't I ever remember his name? Coleman. Is it Coleman? The backup quarterback?
Shoes.
That's
Anyway, or Michael Pratt. And my vote is Michael Pratt. I think he's very good. I think they would do well with him. And then maybe you go out and find yourself a journeyman quarterback for your third quarterback or something along those lines, just in case.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes. But that's Sunday night in Denver. Happy birthdays this week. My daughter-in-law, Brittany, celebrated her birthday this week, and my wife's birthday was yesterday. Had a wonderful party at Sam's restaurant, which honestly wasn't just for her. It was the Starlight Banquet last night. Stars of Starlight was this past week. Was a great event Tuesday night, and then last night was the season-ending banquet with all the people that were the casts and crew and creative teams and celebration of all things Starlight Theater. They did trivia last night, Tom. That was probably some of the hardest trivia. That it was really difficult because it was a lot of numbers. How many nothing bunt cakes were sold this year at Starlight Theater?
Oh,
And it
see,
was,
now you have to have options on that. Whenever you're doing
well,
a number, 'cause nobody's going to get
the way they did it was the
3,520.
team that got closest to the number got the point.
Okay, I'll say
And
3,520.
it was like 3,000. Yeah, it
Really?
was like 3,000, something like that. So the teams that scored the most points got to eat first. They got to go through the buffet line first. So
Oh, I
how
like
many
that.
how many tickets were sold this year at Starlight Theater? Overall patron tickets for all 5 shows, and it was like, I don't. You want to throw a guess out there before
I
I give
do
you?
want to throw a guess. I'm going to say 12,850.
Ooh, over 30,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
30
I thought I
30,000
was going to be
something.
high. I love that idea. And now it makes more sense to not give options because you're getting whoever's closest. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that we did trivia. Our table did terrible. It was we got 2 points out of the 10 questions. It was not, but we still got to eat, so we were okay. Ski Bronx canceled their show last night because of the weather. They did have a show Wednesday, expecting to have Wednesday and Friday shows coming up this week. So there's still a couple chances to catch a Ski Bronx show down at Shorewood Park and support all things Ski Bronx and have fun down there. As far as team sold on Tony, Keller Williams Realty, want to congratulate Greg and Pat on their new Rockford home. We closed on that on 815 day. That was my special part of 815 day, was closing on a house purchase for a great couple. And kudos to the Rockford Rivets winning their first ever playoff game as the Rockford Rivets this past Monday. Unfortunately, they did lose on Tuesday, which eliminated them from the playoffs. But the Monday night's game was very exciting, and they had a great season. They had a wonderful season out at Rivet Stadium. So we have a team to be excited about and an organization to be excited about, very similar to the way we all got excited about the Rockford Ice Hogs. You know, they're putting a great product out for us to entertain us and have fun with. So,
And not just the product on the field, but the actual stadium itself, the marketing of it, the food. Food's really good, by the way, at Rivets, and not terribly expensive. You go to Wrigley Field, you're going to spend $9 for a beer if you're drinking beer, $8 for a hot dog. Come on, it's ridiculous. Anyway,
I'm very, very happy about that. And then last shout out right now is that Ramp is having the River Run event right now. I think they start stepping off at like 9:00 down by the river. So if you're seeing a bunch of runners up and down the river this morning, most of them are in support of Ramp. And we give them a shout out this morning as well. Once again, October 17th coming up is our Masked Karaoke Trivia Contest. How would you like to have a whole lot of fun with some friends and maybe some coworkers, and at the same time supports your favorite local not-for-profit? We still have openings available for this October 17th event. That's a Thursday night at the Hilton Garden Inn of Rockford. A team of eight only costs $160 to participate, and the winner gets $1,000 for their not-for-profit. So you still have a chance to participate in this. If you have any questions, direct message me, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your favorite social media is. You can find our InCrowd 815 pages and let me know if you have any questions, or if I can talk to somebody in the organization that you want to support. This is an event that a business can do in support of a not-for-profit, or a not-for-profit can do in partnership with a business. That's really what we focus on here at InCrowd 815, is that connection between Rockford area not-for-profits and the businesses that support them. So here's a chance for you to do something really fun and entertaining and raise some money for your group. Ask how, reach out to us here at InCrowd. All right, Joanne, how are things at Paws Humane Society? What do you got? Anything special for us this week?
We have a new puppy. We have some puppies coming in.
You got puppies coming in?
There are some events coming up. There's a bourbon tasting August 24th at the burger place. What is the burger place? At Edgebrook? Baker Street.
Oh, yeah.
Baker Street.
Yeah, Baker Street.
I don't see a flyer on it in front of me.
Let me see if I can find. We're having a little bit of a stuttering going on here on the internet at the moment. And here it is. I found it, Joanne. Look at this right here. Paws Adoptable Dogs and J. Henry Bourbon Tasting, Saturday, August 24th from 1 to 3. Baker Street Burgers.
I mean, that's a couple of weeks. August 24th.
That's a week from today.
I hope you're limited on your bourbon tasting. I hope somebody doesn't have like 8 shots and then go dry.
Remember, it's bourbon tasting, not bourbon guzzling. There's a difference.
Okay, there you go.
There's a difference.
From 1 to 3. I don't know.
That's right.
And then
You could get drunk between 1 and 3.
Palooza is listed at September 21st. So that's the next month, Saturday at 10 a.m. And that's a fun event where people can meet adoptable dogs.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, Joanne, did they do a golf outing, the Paws golf outing this year?
I think the answer to that would be a no.
Oh, okay.
We kind of got.
Yeah.
I was seeing as soon as we kind of got squeezed out of there. So Noah's Ark did it on their own. We had done it as a joint venture with Noah's Ark, and we kind of got squeezed out of the event. Is that a nice way to put it?
Lots to do with those events. Those are things to really, there's a lot of moving parts to putting on those events. So you need someone to head that up if it's something that's going to be an annual thing. So. Awesome. Well, check out pawshs.org for all things Paws. And the link to that event for next Saturday is in the chat. So you can go directly to it and check out the details on the bourbon tasting thing. Next.
I think 1 to 3 or 2 to 4, 1 to 3, I think it was.
I did say 1 to 3. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. What do you say? You ready for a big number of the week?
No, I'm not ready for it. There's no way I'm catching up. Let's just skip to the next one.
He wants to be done playing, Joanne, because you're up by a score of 7-1.
Talk about humiliation. How did I manage 1? That's what I want to know.
We tied the first time.
Oh, did we? So I still haven't even beat you outright on one of them. Wow.
It's been a month and a half since you've scored a point, Tom. That's White Sox worthy right there.
Yeah, 29 and like 90 or something. Oh my God, that's awful.
Big number of the week is 36 billion this week, Joanne, and the answer is Pop-Tarts or plastic sharks. Pop-Tarts or plastic sharks. Tom has given me his answer, and we need to know
answer.
Your guess.
We're 7 points.
Give me your guess.
Pop-Tarts.
3, 2, 1, go.
Pop-Tarts.
You're going with Pop-Tarts. Well, Tom went with Pop-Tarts as well. So what's going to happen here? A lost Lego shark was discovered in the English Channel. This plastic shark is one of about 51,000 from a shipping container that fell off an express cargo ship in 1997.
Wow.
Richard West is a 35-year-old fisherman. He reeled in this weathered toy, and he said he recognized it because he played with one as a kid. He reported it to the Lego Lost at Sea project. They confirmed the toy shark was one of the first of its kind to be discovered from the Lego spill that cast a total of 4.7 million pieces into the sea in 1997. And he fished it out of the English Channel this week. How crazy is that? You guys both get a point. Mars, the candy company, they are acquiring the company Kellanova for $36 billion. Kellanova is out of Chicago. They make Cheez-Its, Pringles, and Pop-Tarts, among other things. So kudos to the Mars Candy Company. We'll see if the Pop-Tarts change flavors or something now that Mars owns them. I don't know. Could happen. Could happen. All right. Anything to wrap up before we let you all go and experience your weekend?
Go Packers. It's all I can say. I'm going to enjoy the game. Not a lot of starters. I don't care. I'm going to enjoy the game because I want to see how some of these new guys play. I want to see how the Lions play.
Is it DuBose or Dubois?
It's DuBose. D-U-B-O-S-E. DuBose. Some people want to call him Dubois. No, it's DuBose.
Just when you think the Packers can't have any more great wide receivers, DuBose shows up, and now
I know. It's an embarrassment of riches, which is going to open the door for a trade with Samari Toure. Will probably be gone. Probably Malik Heath will be traded. Bo Melton will be traded. They won't put him on waivers. They'll trade him. So because you'll get something for him, you know you will.
Yeah.
Put him on waivers, and the Bears, the Vikings, Lions, one of those three are going to pick him up.
We gotta have one strong running back on the practice squad. But I don't know that we even need a wide receiver on the practice squad because we have so many good ones on the team that's going to make the team.
Yeah, I still say
one, I think.
Put one on the you have to, because if one or two go down in the game, you're going to need somebody. There's always from the pool outside, guys flipping burgers at a burger joint, and he gets his call. He's coming back to the NFL. Look at Kurt Warner. He was stocking shelves in an Iowa grocery store when they called him, and then he became an NFL Hall of Famer.
And then he becomes a Hall of Famer.
Wins a Super Bowl. Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, next week, Andrew Jackson, not the president, will be on. He's from Sinisippi Centers, which is mainly in Ogle County, but they do stuff in northern Illinois. We'll find out all about Sinisippi Centers with our friend Andrew Jackson on the show next week.
Andrew Jackson.
Want to give a shout. Want to remind people too that Kevin Polkey, who was on with us today, he has a podcast called The Journey, and you can find all his episodes on YouTube. He does great interviews with folks on sometimes very specific topics. It's on The Journey. It's called The Journey, and look for Kevin Polkey and SOS on YouTube. Remember, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same and meet you back here next week for another In Crowd 815 podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great week.